Welcome back, folks. This is the Political Insider Edition. Scott Walker, governor of Wisconsin, is in, but still all the attention is focused on the Donald. Rumors are swirling around that Joe Biden may be running, and how would that affect Queen Hillary? More Scott Walker, you know he's been one of my champions for quite a while. When you go into a state like Wisconsin, which is about as blue as you can get, and you fight the unions, and you fight back the unions, and you win.
And also create a budget surplus.
And he gave the money back to the people. So he's cut taxes, created a budget surplus, created jobs, fought the unions, and he was vehemently attacked and fought and won 3 elections in 4 years.
To me, they try to recall him.
He's got the blueprint of how to do it. How to do it in a democratic state, how to do it in a blue environment, how to do it against the money and the power. I like him a lot. I think he's a little weak on immigration. I think that's going to be an issue for him. But still all the talk is about Donald Trump right now. I don't think that can last forever, do you?
I don't know where that's going. The only thing I know is, thank God you have a man like that. I don't care what he does, and some of the things he says are a little bit far out. But you need that because everybody's so afraid today to...
Tell me something he said that you think is far out. Making Mexico build the wall and pay for it?
Yeah, you just read my mind.
Or charging them $100,000 for every illegal alien that sneaks into the country?
Yes, I think
You think that's far out to say that?
Yeah, I think it is. The reason I say that is it...
Because, let me just jump in. If someone's going to be building a wall, it's probably going to be Mexican heritage people anyway, so we might as well make them pay for it.
But it mitigates some of the wonderful truth that he utters. To me, I myself sometimes have been guilty of saying something a little bit provocative and a little bit far out. Then I realize I'm not doing myself any good by doing that, because then people think that's the way he is all the time. I think that I wish Trump would stay with facts, not with wishes, because he has enough facts to make a strong case. And when he makes a statement like Mexican paying for a wall, that is never going to happen. And that becomes more of an emotional thing. And then he is reduced to being a agent provocateur.
And we've already passed laws. That wall was supposed to have been built 20 years ago.
Yeah, but the point I'm making...
And you know what? If the Hispanic people voted primarily Republican, you'd have had a wall built 25 years ago.
Yes, but it would have never happened. The point is, he is an important enough person, he's an independent enough person, he's a rich enough person that he can impact an awful lot of people. But I think when he goes overboard, I think it's counterproductive. That's my opinion.
Do you think he can stretch this far enough to actually win the nomination?
No.
Is he just in this to push the Republicans to the right because they won't?
It's a good question. What I'm deathly afraid of, and I don't think he's going to do it, but if he becomes another Ross Perot type.
Third party?
Yeah, Ross Perot brought us the Clintons. You would have never had the Clintons if it hadn't been for Ross Perot in 1992.
And if you look at the donation sheets of Donald Trump and his organizations, he's donated heavily to the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation. Now, I understand that any businessman is going to have to play both sides because that's what they're going to do. He's donated to Rangel. He's donated to Schumer. He's donated to the Clintons. Could he be the spoiler, and is he setting himself up to usher Hillary Clinton in?
No, that's a stretch I would not believe in. No, I don't think he has any interest in doing that. I think this is...
If he goes third party, he basically...
Well, that would...
He basically puts the crown on her.
You're putting it on a different basis. You're saying that if he does do that, accidentally, he would put her in the office.
And he's smart enough to know that he'd be doing that. I mean, there's no question about that.
But I think right now, he is doing exactly what he wants to do. He wants to have a national audience for what he considers are the truth that other people are afraid to talk about because it's politically counterproductive.
What do you think of Scott Walker? I think he
I
waited a
think
little
he's a
too long to
wonderful
get in.
man. I think there's everything about him that I like. There's nothing about him that I don't like.
Do you think he waited too long to get in?
No, I think it's very difficult when you come from a relatively small state that's not well known, and where you've got the union against you. I think the hills that he has to climb are too high.
Money-wise,
Money-wise, and getting the type of following.
name
You
recognition.
see, first of all, I think the Republicans are making a horrible mistake by using the same system of fighting each other for the nomination that they did 4 years ago.
And what is there now? 35 guys running. I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
It confuses people.
George Pataki, what is he? Whose time is he wasting?
I mean,
Lindsey Graham, Bobby Jindal. I like Bobby Jindal, but does he really think he can make a difference here?
The only reason I think people they get publicity, and by getting publicity, if they want to get
Speaking engagements, gigs on Fox News,
lobbies,
raise money.
Absolutely.
I knew Newt Gingrich and his people fairly well back in the day.
I know you did.
And one of his main advisors said to me, "There's a lot of money in running for president." And he said that off the cuff, in conversation. And I never forgot that.
Well,
meaning you don't have to actually become president, but you can raise millions of dollars.
I will say by the time this presidential election, first week in November 2016 is over, there'll be well over $100 billion spent by everybody in it.
Absolutely. Our first debate is coming down pretty soon here. They got to whittle it down to at least 10. I think there's 15 or 16 in it right now. Carly Fiorina, I think, should be in that 10. I think she makes a real difference, and I really want to hear what she has to say. She's another one of those types of Donald Trumps that doesn't need the Chamber of Commerce.
No, she's not.
Isn't a political politician.
No, but she isn't. There is nobody as outspoken as Trump. And you notice how they're trying to cut him down by not the PGA, but there's some golf tournaments that will not allow him to sponsor any.
The Miss U.S.A.
Yeah, things like that. It means that he's
effective.
Exactly, he's scoring points.
Okay, Joe Biden is making waves out there that he may want to jump in. If he does, that's disastrous for the Clintons, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so, and I am very surprised that he waited this long. That maybe his boss told him, "Listen, I'd like to have Hillary in there." It means. I think he was prevented from doing so. There's never been a time in modern political history that a vice president hasn't been almost an automatic nominee, or at least a strong candidate for the nomination. So,
and I don't think there's any love lost between the Clintons and the Obamas. So I think that Barack and Michelle would like to see someone like Joe Biden get in there so they could throw their support. It's going to be hard for him to support Hillary Clinton, I believe.
I don't think she really needs them. I mean, if she's more concerned about others in her party. I think she's more worried about the senator from Vermont.
Sanders?
Yeah.
Elizabeth Warren?
No, Elizabeth Warren, I think, is out of the picture. I think Sanders is making waves because he's a pure socialist, which is a little different. He makes no bones about the fact he's a socialist.
So basically, he's Hillary Clinton without the pantsuit.
And I think O'Malley of Maryland may be a competent guy, but nobody's ever heard of him.
That's how deep the Democrat bench is. They've got Hillary, who's been there for 50 years, and then right after her is an avowed socialist. I mean, that's what the Democrats want to put up.
Her background is so ugly. That's the only way I can put it. When they, in some of these drugstore magazines, they say there's about 64 people that have been in the Clinton entourage over the last 30
Who've seen their demise?
Yes.
Who are no longer with us?
Yeah, exactly.
In very suspicious circumstances?
Well put. I think the first one that everybody knew at that time was Vince Foster.
Ron Brown.
Who was able to get up out of his deathbed and walk about 5 or 10 miles.
Before he shot himself again?
Exactly.
We need to take a short break, but don't go anywhere. Our moment in history is next. What discredited U.S. president's foreign policy accolades rarely get mentioned